Welcome to the Sports the Underrated Teacher video. My name is Ronald Edward Harper III, athlete and creator of Sports the Underrated Teacher, and I'm here with Coach Steve Potts, the varsity basketball coach here at Novi Christian Academy. Why don't you introduce yourself to everyone?
All right. Thanks for having me, Ronnie.
Definitely.
Yeah, as Ronnie said, I'm the varsity basketball coach at Novi Christian Academy. First year on with the Warriors in that position, but an alumni of the school, played there, and excited to talk to you today.
Sweet, sweet. So, I know you said you played there. Do you have any stories and stuff you learned from playing basketball here at Novi Christian?
Sure, yeah. I mean, there's definitely lessons learned throughout the years playing all kinds of different sports. Pretty much played every sport under the sun growing up, gave everything a try from hockey, football, baseball, basketball, even played lacrosse and track and field and everything you could. If it had a ball, I played it. If it had a puck, I played it. So learned lessons throughout all the different years playing sports. Some that I learned while playing at formerly Franklin Road, we were met with our fair share of challenges, over the years, and we had kind of varying success, and that was basically dependent on like the excitement and the culture around each sport and the amount of work we put in. Um, One of the more successful teams I played on was our baseball team senior year, and I believe that was in part because we did two a days for maybe a month or two of the season, coming to school before school started, practicing after school. Really put in a lot of hard work to have a successful season with those guys, and so you see a correlation across every sport that anybody plays. The amount of work you put in, the amount of time you dedicate to the craft of playing that sport, to the camaraderie within the team, and the connection you guys build. That's all going to be visible in the final product when you're on the field or on the court. So that's one of the biggest lessons is the kind of direct correlation between success and hard work.
Definitely, definitely. I know a lot of things that I've learned for sure is definitely what you put in will be essentially what you get out of it. Definitely, I know sometimes I'd be at practice and I would be like, I just don't want to do anything because I'd be sore. But I learned that the days that I've learned to just dig deep and actually find that inside of me that, hey, I got to do this because I want to get better because I know that tomorrow the same problem is going to come up and I don't want to be in the same position and fold under pressure. I want to be that guy who can perform under pressure. And that's one thing that I want to, I guess, not tell, but I guess promote to other people through sports that you can use through everything, honestly. Being, one of the shortest guys in the basketball team, I kind of have to do that a lot. And I think that my coaches, including you as well, have taught me a lot to just dig deep and really find your why, and the why honestly really, really helps because once you start to you want to quit and you think about why you started, it helps you to really just keep going. And I think that hard work is definitely a big, big key that you can really put into practice in everyday life, to be honest with you. Definitely, definitely.
For sure.
So
Definitely.
another, hmm?
I was
Oh,
just saying,
so
definitely.
another
Very.
question I had was so I know it takes hard work for every level, but do you think that it's essential to have team bonding outside of practice? I know we have sometimes the team will go out to eat or anything like that. Do you think it's essential to have that in a team?
Oh yeah, it's one of the most important things. You can have a bunch of talented guys get together, but if there's no camaraderie, if there's no brotherhood or sisterhood, if there's no love for each other that's reciprocated one to another, then you're not going to find a ton of success. And you see, the thing I love about sports is You know, a lot of people might think that some of the sayings or the things that are repeated over and over are cliche, and they kind of are cliche, but I'd rather live according to some of these values and these cliche sayings than the opposite. And so people, you know, there's different quotes that people will throw around about getting 1% better every day, or you know, success is least and the rent is due every day, and all these different quotes that people want to throw around. But those are truths that are applicable to our life every single day. And you're going to find, if you go out into the world and into the workforce and into a career, that those things are going to translate and be powerful aids to somebody who comes in with that mindset versus somebody who's just showing up like this is just a job and this is just, you know, I'm just here to pass my time, versus somebody who comes in and kind of attacks the day, as like Jim Harbaugh would say, or wants to get 1% better every day at what they're doing. These are mindsets that lead to success. And in the same way, a team that isn't bonded and is just everyone's out for their own thing, if you have a family or a workplace environment that is like that, where there's no bonding, there's no kind of familial atmosphere, there's no um, sacrifice where I want what's best for you and you want what's best for me. If none of that is happening on the team, then you're going to find that your ceiling is lower, you know. And to take it back to what I said, that one of the more successful teams I was on was also one of the best memories I had was playing sports at our school. Was we did a baseball tournament down in Cincinnati, so we all drive down together, stay in the hotel, you know, cutting guys' hair. We're goofing around, roughhousing, playing in the pool, all those different things, staying in a room together, and you really grow like lifelong bonds that way. And the best sign of a team, people ask coaches, you know, how good is your team going to be this year or whatever, and you hear coaches say, you know, ask me in 20 years how good this team was, because the sign of a good team that came together and loved each other and worked hard is that in 20 years they're going to be men who are taking care of a family or successful in their career and working in the church and serving the Lord and loving people well. And so that's a sign of a successful team for me. That's a sign of a successful team in a lot of coaches' eyes is, do these guys love each other well? Are they willing to sacrifice for each other and want what's best for each other? So that bond is one of the most important things that you look for in a good quality team.
Definitely, definitely. I know. I just want to piggyback off of that. I've actually had an experience. So my freshman year of high school, the summer going actually into sophomore year, we had went to Findlay, Ohio for a basketball tournament, and our coach he took us to this hotel, and I was super nervous because I've never been in a hotel without my mother. That was very very hard. Um, but we just talked the entire time. We actually went to the pool and we are just hanging out playing games. And I couldn't swim, and I was pretty scared. And so one of my friends, one of my best friends, actually that's definitely my brother, Jack. His name is Jack Hensley, and he was like, "I got you." And so I'm not gonna say he taught me how to swim, but
Right?
I was in the water and I wasn't floating, and just
Yeah.
him showing that care and camaraderie and brotherhood really showed me that, hey, this is how it's supposed to be. Like, and it really, really helped me because, you know, him showing that to me, it helped me be able to show other guys on the team the same way. And I think if you get to know your teammates, you get to know their why. And if you get to know their why, you can help them remember their why. And when you help them remember their why, they'll do the same for you. And so it just when everyone starts to remember the reason why they started, it's way harder to quit. And I think that is definitely a very very big aspect in just the playing sports in general, and really just in life. If you're in the workforce and you have a team and you get to know your teammates or your coworkers, and you guys all have a set goal, but you know what drives your other coworker, you'll use that as I'm not gonna say leverage, but as a tool to help drive them to do better. And when you do that, they'll help you do the same. So I think that's definitely a great way to just run a team. To be honest,
Sure.
definitely, definitely. hmm
Sure.
So besides hard work, was there any other lessons that you learned that you can apply to the workforce?
Yeah. I'm not sure if I shared this with you guys or not, but one of the toughest lessons I learned playing sports. Um, so I grew up part of my childhood in Canada, and hockey's like the national pastime there. It's the religion there. Everybody is obsessed with hockey, and I was fortunate enough to play on like a travel team, like a single A team, and I was the captain of my team, which is a big deal in hockey. You know, you're wearing a C on your sweater, and you're the number one leader on the team is usually what that means. You know, you could be the best player on the team. You're not always the best player, but it is the number one leader on the team. And so my coach, they awarded me the captaincy for the year, and you know, things were. My mom, we didn't have a car, and so I would have to call different friends on the team for rides to practice and things, and started hanging out with kind of the wrong crowd, and ended up missing a couple practices with no reason why other than I was being an idiot and just being lazy and wanting to hang out with these guys instead of go to practice. And it was a really dumb decision because I loved practice. I always worked hard and like loved the game, loved hockey, loved being some of my best friends around the team. But I was just, you know, I didn't want to look around for a ride, didn't want to put forth the effort to get to practice. So I had an unexcused absence from practice, and come to the next game after I missed that practice. It was probably the next day, and my coach pulls me aside and asks me why I missed practice. And like I said, one of my best friends was on the team, so he probably told the coach like, I think he's just hanging out with these guys, you know. And so he asked me, and I told him didn't really have a reason why. And he said, "Well, we're gonna take the C off your sweater, and you know, maybe you can earn it back before the season's over, but you let the team down, and we're taking the C off your sweater." So I get to the locker room, and there's my jersey, and it has the C taken off. They cut it off, all the stitching, and you can see the remnants of it on my sweater, right? So I was really dejected and kind of brokenhearted, and I was embarrassed. I'm like, man, everybody knows all the parents know I was a captain. I was a captain for like 70% of the season, and I have to skate out there, and my mom's going to be in the stands and be like, why doesn't he have the C on his sweater? And sure enough, I went the rest of the season and I didn't get it back. And they gave it to one of my line mate. I played on the right wing, and my center was the assistant captain, and they gave it to Riley, and he had it the rest of the year, and I never got it back. And broke my heart, but I don't think I ever missed a practice ever again in my life for any sport, no matter what was going on. You know, never missed a practice for anything, whether I was really hurt or had a ton of homework or, you know, a job. I don't think I ever missed a practice for anything, playing 3 sports, 4 sports a year, all year round. So it definitely left an impression, and it was a hard lesson to learn. It hurt, but it stayed with me for the rest of my life. It's with me now. So that was a big one.
Definitely. I totally understand. I know a lot of times when you learn something the hard way, you learn the consequences, like the bad side of the consequences. And I feel like after you learn the bad consequences, it should push you to want to do something to change it so you don't have to go through the consequence again. I know there have been many times where not gonna say I didn't want to go to practice, but I just didn't. Honestly, I just didn't want to go. And knowing, you know, if I didn't go to practice that day, the next day or the next game, I wouldn't start. And I was like, you know, we only had a few guys on the team. But then the next game, coach was like, yeah, you're not starting. I was like, oh, really? And feeling that pain, you know, all my family's watching. Like, how come Ronnie's not starting? I'm like, because I didn't go to practice. And so I guess just, you know, feeling that pain of like not being able to do what you wanted to do because you decided to make the wrong decision will really push you to make the right decision next time. You know, the one time where you're at practice and you don't want to run to the drill, and coach is like, hey, you're walking, so everyone's running. Everyone's going to get mad at you. You don't want everyone to get mad at you. So we're like, okay, so to avoid everyone getting mad at me next time, I'm going to run. I'm not going to walk through the drill. And I just feel like that can really push you in a lot of situations. And I feel like that's really a really, really great lesson to learn and really just apply to everyday life as well as sports. Definitely, definitely.
For sure.
So that just about honestly wraps up the interview. I just have one question. So if you could tell, any athlete anything, what would it be?
Tell any athlete
Like a word of advice, anything.
I guess I would say how you do anything is how you do everything. And, that translates into every sport you want to play, into whatever responsibilities you're going to have in your home or in your work, at your church. And to develop good habits, they can start on the court, on the practice field, in the film room, and those things follow you the rest of your life. So if you find yourself not giving an effort that you're proud of, then you can change that, and you can determine in your mind and in your heart that I'm going to give 100% of everything I have, and then we'll see the consequence and the result from that, versus cheating myself and only giving 50, 60, 70%. So how you do anything when it comes to your sport or your craft or your passion, how you do anything involved with that is how you're going to do everything in life. And if you find yourself not being proud of the result or the effort that you're giving, then you need to take the responsibility to change it.
Definitely, definitely. That is a great, great word of advice. I know that's honestly, that hits the nail on a lot of things, to be honest. I know my mother, she always tells me to do things with excellence, and I know that's it gets annoying to hear it sometimes, but I've learned that once you do something for so long, you get the habit of it. And so if you start to do something and you start to get lazy, you're going to get lazy for everything. But if you start to actually learn how to work hard and learn to put the 120% in everything you do, you're going to keep doing it. And when you don't do it, you're going to feel like, hey, I didn't do it last time, so I'm going to keep doing it because that felt weird. And it's a habit that you need to get in the habit of. Like you need to get used to doing 120% every time, because when you put in 120%, you'll get out 120%. And I think a lot of players, as myself as well, really need to just, I know a lot of people hear it, but they just need to actually really take it in and really like digest it and actually really, really, really actually do it, honestly. Just really, really walk, the talk, and honestly do the 120%. So definitely. But I would like to thank you for the interview. I really, really enjoyed our time. Definitely. Thank you.
Me too.